welcome back to the channel. My name's Matthew and today we're going to be picking up where we left off last time and learn a bit more ukulele rock and roll. This is the second part of my rock and roll ukulele series. If you haven't seen the first part, then there is a link to it up in the top corner there. I'd suggest you check that one out first, because that teaches us how to play a basic rock and roll riff on any chord on the ukulele. But just as a quick reminder, we take any major chord, let's take the chord of C, and we find the note 5 steps in the musical alphabet up from that. C, D, E, F, G. Find that note on the ukulele. I found it here on the 3rd fret of the E string. So you'd sort of do that at the same time as the C chord. Then you add on the note on the 5th fret, or 2 frets up from that G that we found. And then we go up 1 fret higher again, then back down, and we just go through those 3 positions. And you can do that on any chord. So for example, the F chord. What's 5 steps through the musical alphabet? Start on F, G, then it goes back to A again, A, B, C. So we need to find a C. We've got an open C string. So we play the C, it's there already. Then we want 2 frets higher than the C, so that would actually turn that into a D minor chord, as we're playing a note 2 frets higher on that string. Then 1 fret higher again, turns it into an F7 chord. But we're not really focusing on the names of these chords, it's really the effect of putting them all together that we're after. You see how they all work together and create a really cool rock and roll groove. I'll give you one more, let's do it in G. We find a G shape, we need a note 5 steps away from the note that the chord is named after, so we start on G, then it's back to A again, B, C, D. 5 steps, D, we need a D. Well, there's no open D string, but I'll tell you now, the note on the C string, 2nd fret, is a D note. D. So, we start with that one down already. Then we want 2 frets higher, as per all the other chords. So now we've got a finger on the same string, 2 frets higher, and then you go again, another fret higher, and then back to that 2nd one again, and go through those positions. So there we are. You can either just go down, up on each, or for a really cool sound, you just have the finger on the down and you take it off for the up. Gives it a little bit more bounce. So we've gone over those chords, but how do we actually use them in a song? Well, as I said in the previous video, you can just use this in any rock and roll sort of number, any sort of song that has that kind of groove. But we're going to put it together now to create something that sounds really rock and roll. This is something called the 12-bar blues. You may have heard of the 12-bar blues by name. You may not have heard its name, but you will have heard it being played because it's one of the most popular, if not the most popular, chord progression in the world. It was around a lot in the 50s and 60s and actually predates that, comes from actual blues and is still used today. People say, play me a 12-bar blues in the key of, I don't know, C, and then you can just do it like that. It's a sort of formula which I'll teach you in a minute that applies to lots of music, but if you want to play rock and roll specifically, we'll learn how to put what we've just done, that riff, together with this 12-bar blues formula to create a really awesome sounding chord progression that you can use just on its own. It sounds cool as a solo, or you can use it in the jam session. If you recognize a 12-bar blues pattern in a song that you're doing, you can do this. Lots of uses for this, so let's break it down. So the basic 12-bar blues formula is as follows. Well, as the name suggests, 12 bars is what we have. And we break it down into 3 rows. So 3 rows of 4 bars. All of the top row is going to be our first chord. So by this I mean, what key are we in? It's going to be that chord. So we're going to be in the key of C, so chord 1 is C. On the next line then, we're actually going to have the next 2 bars on the chord 4 steps away from chord 1. We're used to counting 5, but let's count 4. So if we're starting on C, that's number 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4. So we're going to have 2 bars of chord 4, followed by 2 bars again of chord 1. The last bar, the turnaround, is where it gets really interesting. We have 1 chord of chord 5, so let's count 5 all the way through the music. C, D, E, F, G. Again, we know G is 5. Then 1 of 4, so that's the same as before, so F. Then the next bar is a normal 1 chord. Then the final one will be a G chord again, chord 5. Now this is just a really basic 12-bar blues formula, and actually you'll find that people substitute lots of different chords in. Sometimes people will play 2 bars of the 1 chord at the very end. Some people might add in some extra diminished chords, maybe a quick change of a 4 chord, but this is basically all you need to know to get started. And if you see this pattern or something very similar to it, you can use this rock and roll groove throughout the entire song. Songs that use the 12-bar blues are appearing on screen now. As you can see, there's loads and loads of them, and there's plenty more that I haven't listed. There's more that I haven't listed than there are that I have. But let's learn how to put the rock and roll groove together. Well, we looked at how to play the groove on all 4 of those chords just a minute ago. C, F, and G. So all we do is we do 1 round of this riff on each bar with each chord. Sorry to interrupt, but if you're enjoying this video so far, then I think you're going to love this. This is Go Faster, Earn Your Ukulele Go Faster Stripes with this book. There are 21 strumming tricks and techniques in here to really improve your playing. There's something for everyone. If you're struggling with strumming, the basics are all in here. If you want to come up with your own patterns too, we go through all of that in here. And then some more interesting and advanced techniques such as the flamenco, tremolo, Hawaiian, split stroke, it's all in here. There's also some cool party tricks which anyone can do that will impress your friends and audiences. So there really is something for everyone in this book. Everything is broken down nice and clearly with photographs, pictures, illustrations, notation, tablature, all that good stuff that makes everything super clear and easy to understand. We've also got some video links as well, so you can play along with the 7 original pieces of music in here. This book is now on its 3rd print run. I've been blown away by the response to this book, so you better get yours now to see what all the hype is about. So that's my book, Go Faster. You can get your paperback or ebook using the links in the description. That'll take you to a site where you can pick up your copy in just a minute or 2. So what are you waiting for? Head on there now to get your copy of Go Faster and earn your ukulele Go Faster stripes today. On each bar with each chord. So, nice and simple. We go C. That's our first bar done. Let's do the next bar. Same thing, exactly the same thing again. And it's the same thing for the next 2 bars. Great stuff. Now let's do F again, just 2 of those. 2. Back to C for 2. Then we've got G. This is where it gets tricky. You've got to do G1, 1 on F, 1 on C, 1 on G. And then you can finish on a C to round off the whole thing. So I'm going to play through this now. You can play along, and don't forget you can adjust the playback speed using the little cog at the playback bar. But I'd also recommend practicing this away from the video. Make sure you can get the riff nice and smooth if you haven't already, and get those chord changes to happen nice and on time. So here we go. Here's a little 12-bar blues playthrough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't that sound cool? Sounds really rock and roll, and you can speed it up as well. I'm going to do another playthrough now at a faster tempo. When you're ready, try and play along with this, but don't rush. Make sure you can practice it, make sure you can play it first. Okay, here we go. Here's a nice rock and roll, dancey kind of speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you've learnt the 12-bar blues, you'll be able to recognise this pattern and be able to incorporate the rock and roll riff into it. If you play any of these songs, then you'll be able to do that riff all the way through and add a bit more of a dimension to your playing rather than just a C the whole way through. You can really make it exciting. I'm going to do another rock and roll video very soon about how we can add some variation to this pattern and make it even more exciting and sound a bit more professional as well, adding in some extra breaks and licks and things. So make sure you're subscribed to catch that video. In the meantime, I've got another one that you might enjoy right here, so make sure you click on that now. I'll see you over there.